The following program was provided by an independent producer solely responsible for its content. The opinions expressed do not necessarily represent the views of this station, its staff, board of directors, or underwriters.
Hi, my name is Leo Connors, and welcome to The Ring and All Other Sports. Tonight, I got a very special guest, as I do every week. For the third time? Fourth time, professional wrestler, Bareknuckle Burly. Burly, nice to have you on the show.
Very nice to be here.
I'd shake your hand, but Dick won't let me move in my seat.
Nope, we're stuck. We're taped.
Yes, yeah. All right. So let's do fan questions, and then we'll just talk wrestling afterwards.
Sure.
I got a bunch of topics we'll talk about.
Yep.
First question is from Brian Medina, a big APW fan.
Yep.
How long were you and Bugsy Stone a team under the guidance of Big Woody?
Well, we were with Woody the whole time. And I think it was shy of 3 years. It wasn't a long time.
Okay.
It was, in the 2.5 to 3 year mark, somewhere around then. But we were with Woody since day one.
Right. Yeah. And you worked a bunch of different places too, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. APW was our main place.
Right.
And then VCW next because that was where I trained and all that. So we had it built in there. And then we went to Maine a lot.
Showcase.
Showcase.
Because I found that out today.
Yep.
I was looking stuff up and I was surprised. I didn't know you worked there.
Yeah, Showcase. Well, before I was doing tag team stuff, I was at Showcase a lot.
Oh, okay.
So then once I was a tag team, it was just a matter of a phone call.
Right.
So Showcase, UFO with Pat, of course.
Right.
We did 1 or 2 shows. JJLA started up again.
Oh, okay.
And we walked in the door and he tossed us a set of tag team belts.
Nice.
So sometimes it was too easy, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I'd like to get him on the show.
JJLA, that'd be a good get.
Yeah. I haven't heard about him in a long time. Now, his son, that's Travis's father, right?
Yes, I believe so.
Yeah.
Yep.
He's another talented kid that I haven't seen wrestle since the pandemic.
Right.
And that kid, he was working for APW.
Yeah, he was in really good shape, the kid.
Yeah, man, and he was really good. He was a little bigger than his dad, a little taller. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I thought he had a real good chance of going places. Hopefully he'll come back if he wants to.
Right.
You know?
Yep. And Maine, we used to go to Maine a lot. And for Larry, NAWA.
Nice.
Main Event Wrestling, which was going on at the time. They used to bring in really good guests. We were on shows with AJ Styles and Christopher Daniels, and they used to bring in really good guests up there.
Right. Those guys are awesome people too,
of
man.
course.
I got to meet them. They're so cool.
Yep.
All right. Brian has another question. Did you ever wrestle other promotions locally? We just covered that.
There you go.
Great questions, Brian. Thank you very much. Brian's a great guy.
Yep.
APW's managing partner, solo partner, Michael Morse. Did you experience any unexpected emotion as you returned to APW to enter the Big Woody Wrestle Royale?
For sure. That was a great night. A lot of fun. I was hoping it was going to be me and Bugsy, but he had, I think he had prior commitments. He couldn't make it.
Right.
But yeah, it was great. They even played Woody's music for me to come out to. So
that's pretty cool, man.
It was a good time.
And I haven't seen Bugsy in a while.
Yeah, me too. I haven't seen him in a long time.
Hopefully he'll come back eventually.
Yep.
As an APW, he also has another question. As an APW original, were you surprised by the changes to APW over the years?
I'd say the biggest changes was location and talent.
Right.
But it felt the same, you know. I had my good friend there, Derek Mitchell, and
who's still there?
Right. Well, I'm saying he was there,
right? And
Joe Moakley was there, and I didn't feel any big changes that way. I mean, it felt different because it was a different venue, and the amount of talent that's there that I've never met before, Right. So I was introducing myself all day long, you know what I mean? But no, I didn't. Any glaring differences I didn't see. Still felt like the same company to me.
Excellent. Yeah, and big Mark Green's still doing the commentary.
Right. Yep.
He's not. I don't know if you met Drew. Did you meet Drew before?
Drew,
the new color commentator for him?
I hadn't, but I have him on Facebook, so I keep up with him.
Nice guy.
Yes.
Really nice guy. Very good, too.
Yep.
Very good color commentator.
Yep.
All right, Big Gun, Jim Sargent.
Big Gun.
It was great to see you at the Big Woody Wrestle Royale recently. I have 2 questions. 1, will we ever see a reunion of you and Bugsy in APW or anywhere else?
That would probably be the only other thing I would come back for.
Right.
This thing with Woody, I assume they're going to do it every year.
Right.
So I wanted to be at the first one. And if they called me and they said, hey, Bugsy's coming back, he needs a partner.
Nice. I'd love to see that because I'm there at all the APW shows.
Right.
Question number 2. Where, in your opinion, did the Knuckle Busters have their greatest success?
Without a doubt, APW.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I would say VCW next because there was that stretch there where we had both belts.
Right.
Yep.
Okay.
So
Excellent. Seeing we're talking about VCW, I'm just going to jump ahead to Joey Kilmartin. Bieber. Question. What? Bieber.
Like Justin Bieber.
I thought you said Beaver when you were telling me that. Bieber. All right.
That'd be a different one.
Yeah. What are your memories training with Jason Rumble?
Jason Rumble always treated us well. We had a good little core group there. It was me, Joey, Joe Mullet, Joe Mullet.
Yep.
Slug was there with us. Spanish Dave. We had a good little crew there. And, being such a small crew, we all got a good amount of attention from him and what you're doing right and what you're doing wrong and what you're doing wrong.
Yeah.
And he would always let us, learn on the fly because he would run the student shows. We used to call it FIST.
Right.
Future Independent Stars.
Oh, nice. And
we do student shows, and that's, he just threw us in the deep end and watch us swim,
Nice. Jason's a great guy, too.
Yes.
I'm going to try it. Andrew Augustinovich. I had to have said that right. What is your favorite Big Woody story? Or if you have a couple, I'd be very glad to hear them both. A couple.
I'm sure I've told all the good ones here before, but Ed Hunt, who was a friend of mine and one of Woody's best friends, he told me a good one about how they would meet when I was there for the Wrestle Royale. They would meet up every year for WrestleMania since they were, since they were younger. Right. Never failed. Every single year, WrestleMania.
Yeah, because they knew each other before APW and all that.
Yeah, they went to high school together, I believe. Right. Yep. And every year, WrestleMania. And they were deciding what they were going to do for food one year. And Woody had this great idea. He wanted to do a hot dog bar. Do the hot dogs, all the fixins, all the toppings, stuff like that. They all agreed. It was the week of WrestleMania, whatever year it was, I don't know. And Woody needed a ride somewhere, so Ed offered to go pick him up. This was the middle of the week. WrestleMania was on Sunday.
Right.
And he goes to pick up Woody. Woody comes out. He's eating a hot dog. So Ed got all hot saying, we're doing the big hot dog thing on Sunday. It was your idea. And he said, yeah, so what? And he said, well, I mean, on the week before Thanksgiving, you don't have turkey dinner on Monday and Thursday, you know what I mean?
Right.
So I thought that was funny. That's classic Woody. He didn't see anything wrong with that,
Right. That is great. Sonny Roselli. Did you guys work for him too up there at Maine?
Yeah, he was.
IWE, correct?
IWE, and he was part of that Main Event Wrestling.
Oh, okay. See, I didn't know that. All right. So Sonny wants to know, how much did you and Big Woody rib Bugsy on road trips?
Bugsy was the sacrificial lamb.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'd always team up on him, God bless him. But he took a lot of abuse from us. And we'd always put him in the back seat.
Right.
And Bugsy's size,
Yeah. Well, that's funny because he's so big. I would be, I know you guys are good sized guys too. You know what I mean? You're the smaller out of them, but oh man, I'd be afraid to rib that guy. He's so big.
No, but he's a gentle giant.
Yeah, he is. Yeah. Freddie Risa.
Yep.
What was the best match you've ever had?
That's a tough one. I mean, we were never 5-star match guys, you know what I'm saying? But right away, I got to say Demolition, obviously, against Demolition. And they had, we had Tugboat as our manager.
Nice. So was that in Maine?
No, it was it was a one-off show the same weekend that they did the New England Hall of Fame.
Oh, okay.
So there was a lot of those guys in town.
Right.
And it was a young kid that put it on, and he did it at his school. I'm talking young, like middle school age. Oh. And his parents helped him.
Wow.
Yeah, and he did a one-off show, and there was tons of people. Boogeyman was on that show, and Zach Gowen, and probably a bunch of people I'm forgetting. But he needed someone to face Demolition. And if I'm not mistaken, the Minutemen backed out.
Wow.
And I guess we were second choice. So thank you to the Minutemen, I guess.
Yeah. Well, looking at it, it made more sense to have you guys.
Yeah.
I mean, nothing against the Minutemen because they are a great tag team.
Yes. Yeah.
I think Tommy walked away.
Yeah.
Completely.
I think Devin just started back up again.
Yeah. Did he just work for Davey Cash?
Yeah. NRG, they call him, right?
Yeah. I just saw that.
Yep.
That's the first time I think he's come back in a while.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, because I have him on Facebook, and I don't think he's done anything recently. No.
Right. I always thought would love to see Devin Blaze versus Chris Pyro.
Yeah.
I mean, they probably wrestled before, but I would love to see that match because I think they're both phenomenal.
As teams, they were going at it every weekend for a while there. Yeah. I do have to say, I've always been proud of me and Bugsy's dog collar match. That was, wasn't a 5-star match by any means, but we put it together and came out well.
Nice. Yep. All right. I always call him Atlantic Pro Wrestling's biggest fan. you know him as Anthony Mark Balkus. How did the Knucklebusters come to be a team? I know you said it here before.
Yeah.
But if you want to just give it for Anthony,
That
for the
was-
great fan he is.
Woody really took a liking to Bugsy. Bugsy was doing security and sweeping up the ring and ring crew and whatever else he needed him to do. And Woody wanted to put him in the ring. Obviously, the easiest way to do that is make him a tag team.
Right.
So somebody can, for lack of a better term, tell him what to do.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And I had just started working APW. I'd had a couple of matches with Larry, and that was it. And I guess Woody tells that he was looking for something for me to do.
Right.
And it just fit together, I guess. And so Bugsy, I believe, had one match singles. And then that night, we put together the Knucklebusters. And then after that, tag team matches.
Nice. And he is a very intimidating looking guy, though, too, Bugsy. I
Bugsy,
mean, you know what I
yes.
mean? When you just look at him, he's just so massive.
Yep.
Anthony has another question. This is the one we talked about off air. When all three of you traveled, who was the troublemaker? I liked your answer you gave me.
Yeah, we definitely would switch off. I think all three of us were the troublemaker at one point. I do remember a story with Bugsy. We were at a hotel, I believe it was up in Maine, overnight, and we had a show that night and the next day. And Bugsy got up in the middle of the night to use the bathroom, and all of a sudden we hear like a big bang, and somehow he managed to put the heel of his foot through the drywall behind the toilet, like as he stepped back or something like that. So he had to go smooth it over with the lady at the desk. And fortunately, we didn't have to pay anything because I think it was my credit card that was under the room too. You know what I mean?
Right.
And you know, Woody's always was an instigator, so he was definitely a troublemaker. And I'm sure I aggravated both of them at times too. You know what I mean? So,
Anthony, thanks for the questions. Good friend of the show, Dave Fournier. If you could wrestle anyone in New England right now, who would it be and why? Have you been following the
Yes. Okay. You know, because I have so many of those guys on Facebook and stuff like that. I'm a little bit out of the loop, but someone I always thought that would be a good matchup was, and I did get to face him in the Battle Royal there, was B.A. Tatum. So I always felt like we kind of had similar gimmicks.
Right.
So a little feud there would have probably been something fun to do.
Nice. It was great to see him work.
Yeah, and at least I got to work with him there. So.
Right. Excellent. All right. Dave wants to know, and I found this a little weird. All right. No offense, Dave. We love you. What challenges have you faced as a bigger guy? Do you feel some places won't book you because of that? And I'm not going to say what Joey Kilmartin said in his little response.
I mean, I've always been a big guy. I don't think that it definitely never stopped people from booking me.
Right.
If anything, I was always the smaller guy in my tag teams. My original tag team was Big Bear.
Right.
I was the smaller guy. And with Bugsy, I was obviously the smaller guy. So even at my size, I was still the one bumping around because I was the smaller of the two. So I guess it didn't affect us in a negative way.
Right.
And, two big dudes as a tag team always goes well. So.
Oh, absolutely. And I didn't realize, though, I really didn't, how many places that you did work. You know what I mean? I thought it was just like 3 or 4, and obviously it's been 6 or 7.
No, we've been a lot of places, and I'm sure I'm forgetting some.
Right. Okay. Dave has one more. Will we ever see a match between you and Bugsy, and has it happened already?
Me and Bugsy faced off once up in Maine, and a few times as part of different tag teams when we were feuding there. And then, like I said, we had that, the blow-off was the big dog collar match.
Right.
And I forget what event. I want to say it was Full Force Elimination, but it was one of APW's bigger events that we had a dog collar match.
All right.
And I had to eat dog food.
Listen, I don't understand this. Maybe you will. This is from Thomas Graham.
Yep.
That a boy, keep him loose, Big Woody, no.
I didn't understand that either.
Has he been drinking?
He might have been drinking, which is fine. When you're watching our matches, it sometimes comes out better.
Thanks, Thomas. Damon Farah, who in my opinion, honestly, is the best wrestling fan in New England because he goes to all the shows, he supports all the wrestlers, buys everybody's shirts.
Sure does.
He's just an incredible fan.
Yep.
He says, I miss you and loved seeing you at the Big Woody Wrestle Royale. Who on the current APW roster would you like to face if you were to do one more match? Well, you just had one of the guys, but is there anybody else?
Ideally, if we were, honestly, I don't see myself coming back for anything, but if I was to come back and it would be with Bugsy and I think Us vs. Nightbreed.
Oh, yeah.
They just beat they just tied our tag team title record.
Really?
With that win in October.
Right.
So.
Wow. That would be you faced them before.
No,
You've never faced them.
They were on a little hiatus when we were going on.
Okay.
And then they came back after me and Bugsy were both gone, I believe.
Wow, that'd be a hell of a match too.
Yeah, I mean that's one I'd go for.
Both the teams were popular.
Yes.
You know, the fans love both you guys.
Yep.
All right, Ed Hunt. This isn't really a question, but I have to say because it's Uncle Ed.
Yeah.
You know, are your knuckles the only thing that you bear publicly?
Probably the only thing anybody would want to see. I'll tell you that. I mean, I might wear some shorts sometimes, but other than that, that's it.
All right. So that's all the fan questions. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
I've been lacking on the fan questions, and I was very happy when I posted it, and like not within an hour there was 3, and then by the next day I had all those questions.
Yep,
So
much appreciated.
Yes. Yep. All right. Let's just talk wrestling.
Cool.
You told me that you follow the product.
Yeah.
All of it, right?
Yeah. I at the very least watch the results and stuff
See,
like that.
me
yeah.
too. I DVR and I read the results, and then I go back and watch what I want.
Yep.
WWE versus AEW. I mean, at first they were saying it was NXT versus AEW. But personally, I think it's more WWE Raw or SmackDown than NXT.
Right. Yep.
What did you think about the 3 big guys coming in? You know, Punk, and then a couple weeks later they brought in Adam Cole. And then they ruined the Adam Cole thing by bringing in Bryan Danielson the same night.
Right.
I didn't get that at all.
Yeah.
What do you think, though? Do you think that was for the WWE? That had to hurt. Some people said, "Oh, it really didn't hurt." I think it had to.
I don't think they look at it as it hurts them.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because you hear that talk that they say it's the brand that sells the tickets nowadays. But with that being said, Bryan and Punk were the 2 biggest stars of this last era.
Yeah.
Before you started the NXT ball rolling and all that stuff like that. So I think it's equivalent to back in the day when they got Scott Hall and Kevin Nash.
Right. See, I agree with you on that. And what about did you see the 2 promos that Punk did like in the ring with Eddie Kingston?
Yes.
And then with MJF?
Yeah. Eddie Kingston's phenomenal.
He's incredible. Yep. And you would know, I don't know if you know this, but he's one of the nicest guys. He looks like the scariest guy. You don't want to approach him. But man, he's got a soft heart for little kids.
Yeah.
Kids.
Yeah.
He really does.
Yeah. I used to see him a lot when they were running with Chikara.
Yeah.
But I haven't seen him for years.
Yeah, no, it was just great. I mean, when AEW started off, he was one of the guys that wasn't on the TV that I was like, they need to bring him in. Because I didn't think Vince was going to bring him in.
No.
You know?
No, he's definitely not a WWE guy.
No, I don't think so either. But the promo, the little battle he had on the microphone with Punk was so good because it was stuff that they really felt. It was real.
Yep.
Much more real, I think, than the Punk MJF one, which was phenomenal, though.
Yep.
Don't get me wrong.
Yep.
I mean, it went 18 minutes. I watched it again. Actually, I listened to it today because I was at work. But incredible.
Yep.
So what do you think about Punk coming back?
I think they're doing it the right way, where they just didn't shoot him right to the top.
Right.
And from what it seems like, those are guys that he wants to work with.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And if he's there for a number of years, which all the signs are pointing to that, what's the rush?
Right.
You know
exactly.
what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, everybody wanted to see him get in the ring right away with the Bucks, Omega,
Yep.
MJF.
Yep.
And you're right. They definitely did it the right way. Why do that when you can build him up again?
Right.
He just came back after 7 years. And I loved it how, in the thing with MJF, how he said, yeah, I was scared. You know what I mean? And he was wondering, are the fans going to still be there for him? Are they going to turn on him and stuff, you know? It was just incredible.
Yep.
And Daniel Bryan, the heel turn, threw me for a loop. I really didn't see it coming. I thought he was going to be the top babyface for a while.
Daniel Bryan as a heel is always enjoyable.
Yeah. Oh, his Ring of Honor stuff as a heel was incredible.
Yep.
Incredible stuff.
Yep.
What do you think about all that WWE releases? I mean,
that's tough, man, and it's starting to be so much. It's starting to get puzzling.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Definitely. That's why I ask everybody because it is puzzling.
I know everybody goes right away to, well, they're probably selling off the company, but just being since what was it the 60s or the 50s that his dad started it.
His dad, I know that WWF started in the late 60s.
Yeah,
and he had it to what I want to say 80. 180?
Right. I can't just see them selling it off. Would I be surprised? No.
Right.
But in my heart of hearts, do I think they're going to just sell off the company? I don't think so.
Well, you know what's weird? Because a long time ago, what's that long? But maybe 8 years ago, whatever, I saw a Vince McMahon interview, and he was talking like, I want the WWE to be as big as Disney. You know what I mean? ESPN, he wants and you just said it a few minutes ago, the brand.
Yeah. And I think we're there.
Yeah,
right.
Oh, absolutely.
You know,
everybody knows who you don't need, like my mom. She's not a wrestling fan, but she knows what the WWE is. Probably helps that I'm a huge wrestling fan.
Right.
But I think they'd know it anyways.
Yeah. I mean, you might have somebody every once in a while call it WWF by mistake.
Right.
But
they still know what it is.
So that's wrestling.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So I can't see those rumors of them selling it off being true.
Right. What I did talk with one of my buddies. I think it was Dave Forney, and we were going back and forth like, what would happen if they sold? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we kind of thought the same thing, that if they did sell, whoever they sell it to is gonna need people to run it.
Of course.
So that would be where Stephanie and Triple H would stay,
whether
it's a 5-year deal in the sale or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But another thing was, Vince isn't gonna just sell it for nothing. The UFC a few years ago sold for what? $4 billion. Yeah, a company they paid for $2 million for.
Right.
So honestly, with the network and all that, I know Peacock has the network right now, but they only got it for 5 years, and they paid $1 billion for it.
Right.
What is the WWE worth? $10 billion? I mean, if the UFC, which has not been around even a fraction of WWF, WWE, you know what I mean? They got to be worth $10 billion if in the market. I'm just saying, compared to if the UFC went for $4 billion, WWE definitely has to go for more, way more.
Yep, no doubt about it.
You know?
Yep.
And I'm curious to see what would happen. Would NXT be off the table? Would that be something that Stephanie and Triple H kept? Because, I mean, Vince is 78 years old?
Yeah.
And he looks old. Yep. Granted, he's still the genetic jackhammer, as he called himself. You know, he really is. Yeah. And he's a genius. But I'm just puzzled by, like you said, of what's been going on there.
Yep. Yeah,
you know?
They spent and most of those guys, they were still in the building process.
Right.
So they spend all that time building them and then just cut ties and see you later.
Bronson Reed, he was the North American champion.
Right.
They brought him up. He probably had matches for 3 straight weeks, and then they dropped him.
Yep.
And we talked off here, made me wonder and worry about guys that I'm a huge fan of, and you are also. Carmelo Hayes, you know? And I love to see how he's still getting that push.
Yeah.
What do you think about Braun Breaker?
I've only seen that first match there when he debuted.
Yes.
I just happened to be watching that night. But I think he's great. I mean, he wrestles like a Steiner.
Yeah. He talks like Scott and wrestles like Rick.
Yep.
He's incredible. I think I really do think he's going to be a big star.
Yeah. It's got to be disheartening too. You're a guy, 20, 22 years old, trying to get into the business. And like in my era, it was, you made it to the WWE, you were golden. That was your ultimate thing. Now these guys are hoping for that.
Right.
And then turning around and getting fired.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was scary before.
Yeah.
And now that when you get to the WWE, you can be let go 18 months later.
Yeah. It's crazy. You know what really threw me for a loop was Scarlett, with Karrion Kross.
Yep.
They didn't even give her a chance on that. I mean, with all the success they had with Sonny. Now, granted, Sonny ended up being a huge headache, right? In the end and all that. But look how successful she became in the WWE. And to me, Scarlett was the closest thing ever since Sonny, in my opinion.
See, she always reminded me of more Sable than Sonny,
really
to me.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And I just not only the looks and the costumes and stuff like that, but I think the presentation was kind of like when Sable first came out with Mara.
Yeah, I love their entrance.
Yep.
I thought the entrance was phenomenal.
And then they took it away from them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't get it. I mean, like you said, and I just heard I was watching a shoot interview the other day with Dutch Mantel. And Dutch was talking about 50-50 booking. And that's pretty much what we've been seeing in the WWE for the last few years. I think it goes all the way back to when Miz beat Cena at WrestleMania. And then within 4 months, he was back on the bottom of the card.
Yep.
And I don't get it. I mean, you make a star, you keep him a star. And I think, to me, that's what I noticed the first part of 50-50 booking.
Right.
And what do you think about that?
I mean, the easy answer is, they're the ones making the billions of dollars. They just record highs this year, right? And, we're just the guys watching. Doesn't make any sense to us.
Right.
To them, it makes sense. They're the one raking in the dough. It looks like they're right?
Oh, absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
But does it make any sense to the fan? No.
Right. I'm not the type of fan that thinks I know more than Vince McMahon or anybody in the wrestling business. You know what I mean? Yeah. But it's just puzzling sometimes
No, I agree.
they do.
I definitely agree.
All right. What about have you been up on some of the newer talent? And like some of the kids that have come out of the New England Pro Wrestling Academy?
Well, I did meet, yes. Well, I do still follow them and Chaotic and stuff like that. And I did meet a good chunk of them when I was there for the Battle Royal.
Yes.
So I do know some of them.
One of them that really impresses me right now is Monty Chaos.
Yes, I met him there. Yep.
That kid is so flamboyant. And I see a lot of potential in him. I think he's very talented now. I can't wait to see what becomes of him as the years go on. But one kid that is probably, I think he might be the next kid signed. And I might be saying that. And some people might now go, oh, you don't know what you're talking about. Alec Price.
Alec Price was, and he started with Bo, right? So I got a soft spot for him right there,
Listen, that kid, right? I went to a Beyond show. I used to go sometimes to the Thursdays because I'm an older guy. So, like, if I take a Thursday and go somewhere out and I'm not home in bed by 9:30, 10 o'clock, I don't go to work.
I feel you.
So I can't go to all the shows.
Yep.
But me and my buddy Dave, we'd go to not Dave Foy, my other buddy Dave Cleary, we'd go once a month. And we would go and all of a sudden I seen Alec there, you know what I mean? And we'd talk to him and I'd be like, so you working the show? He's like, no, but I'm here setting up. I'm like, that's good. Yep. You know what I mean? Keep doing that. Keep doing that. Keep seeing him, once a month. Finally, we get there. And I see him. I said, how you doing, kid? He goes, I'm wrestling tonight. And at Beyond, the Thursday night shows, the Uncharted Territories, they do a spotlight match where the first match of the night, they want all the fans to go live on some sort of social media platform.
Oh, that's cool.
And he came out and wrestled that night. And it was amazing. And the fans hated him. I mean, and I'm talking go away heat. We go back maybe 6 weeks later, biggest babyface in the building. Every single person in that place loved him, and he didn't change anything.
Right.
His hard work in that ring changed everybody's opinion.
Yeah.
And I think I seen a match that he had that I thought at the time was probably his best match. He's had better matches by now, but it was at a UFO show, and it was him versus one of his trainers, Benny Jukes.
Oh, okay.
It was the same night that Brian Malonis wrestled Chris Dickinson. And I'll never forget it. I said to my buddy Daryl, I said, who's going to follow that?
Right.
2 matches later, Alec Price and Benny Jukes stole the show. And I mean, stole it.
Yep. That's not surprising. Benny's really good.
Incredible. Yep. Incredible. But Alec is really, he's killing it everywhere.
Yep.
And he's being booked everywhere.
Yeah, that's good.
Now, you look at Chaotic's booking them now. They got all their own students.
Yep.
So he's got to be doing something, something right,
Chaotic under, I believe, don't quote me, but I believe under Chase, the way it's been going nowadays, they really have opened up to guys that are talented. Yeah. Where years ago, sometimes even if you had the talent,
right,
you weren't working Chaotic shows.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So that is 100% turnaround and 100% improvement, in my opinion, for Chaotic Wrestling.
Yeah, no.
And I've always been a fan of Chaotic Wrestling.
Right, me too. And Chase is killing it. Yep. And he's bringing in different, like you said, like we said, he's bringing in Alex, but he's also bringing in people from other places too. But Brian started doing that too with using guys from Creative Pro.
Yes.
Because if you remember, MJF wrestled for Chaotic for a while.
I didn't know that.
Yes. Yep. Beer Country.
Yes. Yep.
And what's Chris Statlander. All of them came from Creative Pro. And what's the kid's name? He's got blonde, TJ Crawford.
TJ, I'm unfamiliar with him.
Wow. Now, do you know the referee from Ring of Honor back in Jersey All Pro over the years, Sean Ref Hansen?
It sounds familiar. I'm sure I've run across him at some point.
Well, we're watching. Chase is he was over the pandemic, he was having matches from the school and then putting them online. I'm putting them on Twitch.
Okay.
And everybody's we're watching them live, and all of a sudden I said how TJ Crawford was acting reminded me of Hanson, and who's become a real personal friend of mine. I was invited to his wedding. I'm an uncle to his kid, But Chase was like, wow, Leo, don't put him down. But it was more to me like a compliment because when Sean worked at Jersey All Pro, and I know he was just a referee, but man, was he good at it? But then they had him doing other things where the fans were hating him and all that. But I think, seriously, TJ Crawford is definitely one of the up-and-coming kids in the wrestling business right now. And I wouldn't be surprised if he signed in 2 years.
Right.
You know? Let's go on to, let's talk about the Undisputed Era. Adam Cole in AEW, now Bobby Fish. Does Kyle O'Reilly join him?
I think if the opportunity arose, I think he'd be into it, and I'm pretty sure AEW would be into it too.
Oh yeah, I would definitely think they would.
Yeah.
What do you think about him working with I think it's Wayne Enos. Is it Wayne Enos or Mike Bloom's son? He's Vaughn Wagner
On NXT.
Yeah.
Vaughn Wagner's pretty good. He's got that unique look, right?
Totally unique look.
I think if this was the 80s, he probably would have got saddled with some type of cheesy gimmick. You know,
Oh, no doubt, yeah.
Caveman or something like that. You know what I mean? No, that's, Kyle O'Reilly's really good, obviously. Goes without saying. And the new NXT, the NXT 2.0 whatever, I know people have been crapping all over it, but I think they got a good group of talent there.
No, I like that a lot.
Are they ultimately waiting to get called up and get fired? Time will tell, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
And Ciampa's back on top.
right.
You know, what do you think about that, Tommaso Ciampa?
Tommaso-
Now, did you ever wrestle him?
I never wrestled against him, but he was when I was training at the time it was CTC.
Yep.
He was there
Okay.
on nights helping out and stuff like that. So
Right.
I did have a lot of interaction with him. Tommaso's one of the best in the business, right?
No doubt.
Especially now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no doubt.
Yep.
I think he's just as good as anybody on AEW.
Yep.
I think he's just as good as anybody on the main roster in WWE.
No doubt about it. But
Raw,
SmackDown. He's gone on record saying that he wants to stay on NXT, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
But eventually they got to move him up if they need him.
Yep.
You know, I don't know. He's been with them. This is a second go round
Right.
with the WWE. A lot of people don't realize they used to see it. They seen him on TV with The Undertaker and all that as Muhammad Hassan's lawyer.
Yes. Yep.
You know, a lot of people thought he was just showing up just for that, but they didn't realize he was signed to a contract. And then they let him go, and he did the smart thing by not just coming back here. He ended up going to Harley Race's camp,
Right.
which is an amazing, if you're a pro wrestler and you get the opportunity to train with a guy like Harley Race, how do you turn that down?
Yep.
Harley Race loved Tommaso Ciampa. Hated Kenny Omega.
Oh, really?
Did you hear about that?
No, I don't know about that.
Kenny Omega and a bunch of guys went to a camp for Harley Race. For some reason, Kenny Omega, like if you looked at all the names, you'd be like, wow, he's the most talented guy on this list. Harley Race made him go to the beginner's ring. He didn't like him at all. At all. Makes Jim Cornette very happy when he talks about that.
Yeah. I haven't listened to Jim Cornette's podcast in quite a while, but I used to when I was out delivering. I used to put that on because it's like a 3-hour podcast?
Yeah,
Something like that.
I think today, the one I listened to today was 3 hours and 46 minutes.
Yeah, so it's definitely good. Put on while you're working or
Right.
something like that. He's Jim Cornette. He's right about a lot of stuff.
I find I agree with him more than not agree with him.
Right, but
not on everything, but most stuff.
But he does go way off the deep end
Oh,
sometimes.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
He's crazy guy, but I love him, man.
Yep.
He's one of the wacky guys from pro wrestling.
Yep.
Just like a guy like I said, Dutch Mantel. He wrote a book. I don't know if you're. I haven't read his book, but I'm dying to get it. What do you listen to any wrestling podcasts now?
I used to a lot more, but my commute to work is very short now.
Right.
Kind of cut into that. But yeah, the only one that I still check in on is the Cornette one.
Yeah.
And not the main one. I like the one that the
drive-through.
They answer the questions, the fan questions.
Drive-through.
Yeah, that's the one.
Brian Last's show. That's what they always
that's
call
true.
it. Yeah.
that's true. Okay. So that one, and then when I was listening to everything, it was your Art of Wrestling, and I used to really like.
I love the Art of Wrestling too.
AfterBuzz, which was one out of California, I believe.
Oh, wow, I've
and
never heard that.
they would just review the shows, Raw and SmackDown,
Right.
all the stuff like that. That was one I used to listen to. There's this one from a kid that used to be from Massachusetts, but now I believe he lives out in Las Vegas, and it was called The Whole Effing Show. And that's a really good wrestling podcast. I believe they're still going to today.
Now, is that with Rob Van Dam?
No.
Oh,
They
really?
they just use the name.
Because you said Vegas, and that's where he's living
Right.
now, RVD.
Right. No, it's just that's the name they've always used, and they never got in trouble for it. And,
Wow.
Yeah. And
That's
I'm pretty
cool.
sure that one's still going.
Nice.
And a few other ones.
I listened to Keep It at 100 with Conan.
Okay.
Great show. I'll just feed in like everybody else's. Conan's great. Joe, the producer's great. And then there's Disco Inferno. But I'm just joking. He's awesome on that show.
Yeah.
I always loved the Disco Inferno.
I tell you, in WCW, I was a fan of Disco Inferno.
Very entertaining
He
guy.
was silly, but that was what it was.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. He's another guy that lives in Vegas.
Oh, okay.
Let's see. Let's go. Who do you think from the WWE will be the next people to sign with AEW? Because you know it's going to happen.
Yeah. I mean, I think you hit the nail on the head with Kyle O'Reilly, especially if they don't do something with him soon.
Right.
And the rumors of Gargano going, right?
Yeah.
Not that I'm wishing it upon him, but I could definitely see the Viking Raiders there.
Yeah.
Or back as War Machine there, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that would be awesome.
And
It would.
they do have that focus on tag team wrestling with the
Right.
Bucks having their hand in the creative. Who else can I think of? I think that's them. Probably I wouldn't doubt if somewhat one of the big time girls like Sasha or Charlotte or
Right.
you know.
Well, Charlotte seems to me like she's trying to get fired.
Yeah.
For crying out loud.
Yep.
You know?
That's a crazy situation too. But then everybody was talking about the match with Becky was going to be a shoot fight and this and that.
Right.
And then they came out wearing matching clothes.
Yeah.
Becky was dressed as Scarlet Witch,
Yep.
and the other one was dressed as Agatha from Vision and from WandaVision.
Yep. It's a great match. Too.
So how if they coordinated their outfits, how much could they be really fighting?
Well, it was funny because I like I said, I listened to the Conan one, and they were talking about it today. How like you could tell that they were talked to because they went out there and they had a good match.
Yeah, it was good.
But you could tell that they were not laying it in completely. But I don't know. I personally think Becky Lynch is incredible. Charlotte, in my opinion, has been the best women's. Her and Sasha Banks has been the best in-ring work. Nothing against Becky. She's great too.
Yeah.
But I think Charlotte and Sasha's just a little bit above her with the in-ring work.
Yeah.
I could see Charlotte going. I could see Bray Wyatt ending up there. I mean, I'm surprised he hasn't been there yet.
Well, if I was doing that stuff, I would hold them off since they just brought in all those WWE guys.
Right.
I mean, if there's some type of retainer you could put them on, maybe. But I don't know. That Bray Wyatt's another crazy case too, because it looks like he's looking at Hollywood now, right? So,
right. Yeah. It's crazy.
Yep.
I personally think they dropped the ball with him big time. I think the beginning of the end was when they burnt them.
Yep.
You know what I mean? They burned him alive or whatever. I think that was just the start of the end of Bray Wyatt.
I mean, when you literally kill someone on TV.
Yeah. And the stuff they were doing with Alexa Bliss, and now from what I've heard, we know she's been off TV.
Right.
Supposedly she's being repackaged again. I personally think she was killing that character. And not in a bad, killing it like great.
Yeah. It almost got a little better when they took Wyatt away from her.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Because then she wasn't as to the spooky magic side, you know what I mean? But no, Alexa Bliss, I think she's in that same conversation with Sasha and Charlotte and Becky, and she kind of gets forgotten about. You know
Very
what I mean?
true.
Don't forget about Bayley.
She's incredible worker too.
Yep.
I mean, the women they have, in my opinion, are way better than the girls in AEW. I'm not saying like Britt Baker is really good, and there's a few other girls that are really good.
Tay Conti.
Tay Conti.
It's one of my favorites.
Who else? Nyla Rose. I can't. I don't think she's great. I think she's pretty good.
Yep.
A lot of people have the stigma because she's transgender that she shouldn't be wrestling women. Let me tell you something, man. She looks like a woman now.
Yep.
So I don't know.
We were on a show with her years ago.
Really?
She had a tag team partner that was also transgender.
Yep.
I don't know the right terminology.
Right.
But and we were actually supposed to. It was supposed to be a tag team match. We were supposed to face them.
Wow.
And I remember getting a little bit of grief about it from Woody because I think I was the one that went out and got it.
Right.
The booking.
Right.
And so we went in there. We got to the building thinking that was going to happen, and then something changed along the way, and it was somebody else facing them. I don't know if they didn't want. I don't know if it was them that didn't want to face us, or somebody didn't feel like it meshed or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, we were supposed to face her and whoever her tag team partner was.
Was it Ricky Cataldo or Eddie McQueen? Those are only two that I know from the New York area.
I don't remember anymore.
Nothing. They're killing it.
And somebody had to point that out to me. I had forgotten that Nyla Rose was the same person that we were going to face. And I never realized until later, until she showed up on AEW, I didn't realize.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think they could have done more with her.
Yep.
But I think there was a couple of matches at the beginning where they kind of got a little sour on her in-ring work, and she made a few mistakes. But you shouldn't be putting on people on TV really until they're ready.
Right.
I mean, you barely see that in the WWE, but you do see it because Osmos.
Almost. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the guy's how do you keep him off TV, though? How do you keep a guy that big off TV? It was great when he was just accompanying AJ.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think it was smart to put him in, again, like you said with Bugsy.
Yep.
How do you bring him up? You put him in a tag team.
Yep.
And they put him with one of the best workers in the world. If not the best, one of the best.
Yep. Yeah, that's time tested. You put a less experienced guy with someone that's got a little bit more experience.
Right.
You know, I mean, I was only in a couple of years when they paired us up, but you know.
But you also had Woody there, though.
And I was, and you know, where Bugsy was, I was
right
light years ahead of that.
Oh yeah,
at
definitely.
least, you know.
So let's talk about some of the places that you've worked.
Sure.
Let's start with Showcase, and that is run by who?
Chris Blackhot. Yep, Chris Blackhot, and they got the school down in Rhode Island that's still doing very well from what I have seen online. And Chris was always a great guy. He had a good, a good relationship with Rumble. And when we were training with Rumble, we would load up a car full of guys and we'd go down there when he was having shows. Especially he runs shows at the school also.
Oh, okay.
It's not just a school. It's big enough where he can run shows.
Right, right.
And especially when he was doing those shows, we'd go up there and he'd fit us in wherever he could.
Nice. Now, who were some of the guys you worked there?
In that era was Monster Mac was the tag team, right? There's a guy that I think still wrestles from down there, Buck Nasty.
Yep.
I can't remember his work name anyway, but Tony Amaral.
Okay.
Can't think of his work name.
Scott Levesque.
Scott Levesque.
Yes.
Scott Levesque is great.
Kid Reflex?
Very nice, very good guy. Yep, he was there in those days
Eric
too.
Dillon?
Yep,
Good dude?
Yep. Spanish Dave that we used to train with would go up too.
Yep.
I don't think some of their top guys weren't there in that era.
Right.
That they have now as their top guys. And Scott Leder was they were doing the Wrestlers gimmick at the time.
Oh, okay. Yeah. The Refless.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys had some good matches with them.
Right. And so yeah, that was kind of their core group there at the time.
Now, Monster Mac, that's the guy with the mask that has a podcast too, correct?
Yes, and
I want to get him on this show.
Yeah, I don't know if they still do it.
And what's his trainee number 1 or something like that?
Yeah.
I definitely would love to get them on. I actually enjoyed their show. I've listened to a few of their shows.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So how about VCW, which I went to.
If you remember him and his partner Dino LeConte.
He used to be Dollar D.
Right.
And he was only about this big. And then I didn't see it for 4 years. He comes up to me one day and goes, "Hey, well, Leo, what's up?" He's like, "You don't remember me?" I'm like, "It's me, Dino." I'm like, "What?" Was he a state cop now or something?
I know he's a cop.
Yeah. Good kid.
And he was the first Dollar D.
Really?
You remember who the second Dollar D was Joe Mullet.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I didn't even know there was a second one.
Yeah, when we first started doing shows, like the shows we did in Lowell and stuff like that, he would wrestle under the mask. Yeah, I think he just gave him the gear.
Yeah. That is funny though, because like I said, Dollar D was so little, and then I didn't see it for years, and all of a sudden he just spurted.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
Yeah, but
very talented kid.
Yes. Yeah, and I would wrestle Rumble sometimes.
Yeah.
Especially we would do little shows. Like I remember there was one at a campground that Jay had set up.
Yeah,
and it was me and him there. We did have our match in Lowell for the VCW heavyweight title, and which ended up with Slug cashing in his whatever money in the bank gimmick. Jay used to call it cash and carry. Right. So Slug cashed in his cash and carry and won the belt.
Was that at the Past Tips Club?
Yes. Yeah.
We used to do a lot of drinking in there back when I lived down there.
Well, I was lucky. My aunt, my wife's aunt, was the bar manager there. So she actually said to me, "Well, why aren't you doing wrestling here?"
Right.
And I said, "Say no more."
Wow, so that's pretty cool.
And we had a big ring though. We used to have to gimmick up the ceiling fans.
Really?
Like pull them to the side.
Yeah.
And I think a few guys probably hit their heads on those from time to time. But yeah, those were great shows. And that was an era where nobody was touching Lowell other than Chaotic.
Right.
So that was that was kind of fun.
I'll tell you, a lot of people. I mean, I can imagine how much you learned from Jason working with him. I mean, Jason, a 3-time NWA Junior Heavyweight Champion. I mean, you're talking about a guy that they flew places.
Yep.
Back in the day, you know what I mean? Jason was, and he's still a great wrestler. I'm not saying that he's not.
Right.
But like, how much did you really, like, seriously, learn from him in the ring working?
Well, when I got to the original Bell Time Club, which in that time was in Everett, I was
behind the 7-Eleven?
Yep. On the second floor.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Even though I had done a little bit here and a little bit there, I really didn't know anything at all.
Okay.
He was the one that turned me from someone training to wrestle to a wrestler. So really, he was very, very influential. And as soon as I came up with the name Bareknuckle Burly, he just, I had some idea what the gimmick was going to be, but he was the one that kind of fleshed it out. And then he put me with Big Bear, and we became the family.
Right.
With Bull Montana was our manager. I just ran into a Bull this weekend, believe it or not.
Really?
I was doing the Northeast Comic Con in Boxborough, and who walks by my table? Bull Montana.
Wow, I love Bull.
He's still doing well.
Is he?
Yeah.
I
Same.
saw him at the Joe Bruin's last Hall of Fame.
Oh yeah.
And he's just, I love Bull. Always have.
Yeah.
Great guy.
Yeah.
All right, let's see. Let's talk about Larry Huntley's company, North Atlantic Wrestling Association.
Yep.
Right? Is it Alliance or Association? I think it's Association.
I know it's NAWA.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I know we just had a show over the weekend.
Yep.
Or last week, or one of the weekends. Who'd you guys work there?
We would go up together, but a lot of times he would put us in singles matches.
Right.
I don't know what it was. Excuse me. I don't know what it was, but we did a lot of singles matches up there.
Yeah.
And Woody would come too, and he'd just come out twice.
Right.
You know what I mean? And when we were going to do the feud with me and Bugsy, Larry talked to Woody, and he said, "Hey, I'm thinking about putting the two of them together in Maine. Do you mind doing it before APW?"
Right.
And Woody had no issue with it, and it gave us a little bit of practice. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Go over some of the spots and stuff like that.
Right.
And but every time he would run, he would invite us. So we went up there a lot. And then sometimes it would work out nicely. We'd do one show for him on Friday, and then somebody else would take us on Saturday.
Nice.
So we'd spend the night and have a whole weekend out of it,
Well, Maine is doing phenomenal things with wrestling now, with Larry's company and Randy Carver's company, Limitless Wrestling.
Yeah, when in my era, that was before Limitless. Randy was doing the ring announcing for Larry and a few other companies. Yeah, so I did meet him a few times.
Right.
Yeah.
Smart kid.
Yep.
I mean, right now, Limitless is like a mini Beyond in a way.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? They're bringing guys in from all over the place.
Yep.
And for a young kid, he's a really good promoter.
Mm-hmm. I would say that's the same level of company, because Maine doesn't have as much wrestling as Massachusetts. Right. They brought back the level of wrestling in Maine that hasn't been seen since NWA on Fire.
Wow.
In my opinion.
No, I hear you.
You know what I mean?
I think they're one of the best companies in all of New England. They're right up there with APW, Chaotic Wrestling. Showcase is a good company.
Yep.
I love all the companies. Proving Ground, they're all great. I haven't been to everybody's show, but I follow, I watch stuff online and all that. Do you know anybody, have you met Todd Graham of Proving Ground?
I think I did. I went to a show that Dennis Conway.
Yep.
And Teresa.
Another nice kid.
Yes. I worked with them years ago.
Okay, in Delilah.
Yeah.
Teresa.
Yes, yeah. At our shoot job, we used to work together.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It was a nursing home out in Dedham.
Okay.
And so I went to go do one of their shows. They were having Big Bear do a handicap match.
Yep.
And they asked if I wanted to come in and do a run-in. So I said, sure, why not?
Yeah.
And I met Todd Graham. I met a bunch of those guys that I had never met before.
Awesome, guys.
Yep.
Real quick before we go any further, Dick Lane, man, sending you lots of love, thoughts, and prayers for you and your family and your daughter. All right. Did you ever meet Insane Dick Lane?
I think that night I met him. Yes.
Great guy, man.
Yeah. Awesome.
Unique.
Character. Awesome character.
Yes.
Yep.
Like his character is like nothing I've seen in the area right now.
Yep.
Another guy I like is Sean Leder.
Yes. Yep.
Really, oh God, I'm not going to even try to say it because I'll probably get it wrong. So sorry, Sean. Next week I'll plug your whole gimmick and all that. But I had them both on the show. They both did incredible numbers, man. Like
cool.
Right off the bat.
Nice.
Let's play some more of the name game here. How about Ryan Drew, who's been working at APW quite a bit lately too.
Yeah, I used to run into him back in the day at UFO on Pat shows, And we did chat a little bit at APW. We were talking about when he used to team with Ryan Waters.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, that is him. That is him. Matt Magnum?
Matt Magnum. Exactly.
They were a good tag.
Yes.
He
that's
just
exactly
came
what it
back
was.
to wrestling,
Yes.
you know, Matt Magnum.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, at APW.
Yeah, they were a hell of a team in those days.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were talking about that.
What about a kid from Bo's school, and he's training with top rope and all that at the lockup? Shannon Thomas.
Shannon Thomas. I never met him yet, but I've seen his stuff online and stuff like that.
Good dude.
Yep. Yeah, another great guy out of New England.
Yeah, and he has a more unique style than anybody else. He likes to put in like that European style, you know, along with his American style.
Right.
I think that kid's going places, and he's a young kid. You know, he's finishing up college soon, if he didn't already. I see big things for Channing Thomas. There's a few other guys from the top rope area. Oh my God, I can't. BRG, Brett Ryan Gosling.
I know the name. I don't think I've met him.
Yeah. He's, like, again, some of the, you know, there are a lot of smaller guys nowadays, but thanks to guys like Daniel Bryan, smaller guys are now way more accepted than they used to be.
Yep.
And I think that kid's really good. He's got the gift of gab. I don't want to don't make me think I'm an idiot, but he reminds me a little of Piper.
Really?
The way he acts and yeah. He's got the bravado. You know what I mean? But the smart ass mouth.
Yeah.
I see big things for him too, and he's doing things up in Maine with Channing Thomas, and they have another guy, and it's the second time now that I've
Oh, they got a little faction going.
Yeah,
I know.
Prestige.
I know what you're talking about. Yes.
Yeah, and I'm sorry that I forgot the third guy's name. I got to remember it next time because they're doing really great things. How about Nico Silva? Let's got to stay with top rope for a few minutes.
Nico Silva, I met him. I don't know if back in the day we had come across each other, but I was talking to him a good amount at APW.
Because he's been working there too.
Very nice guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he does a great job. Yep.
Man, he really is.
Yeah.
Robo
was out. Unfortunately, he threw me out of the Battle Royal.
Yeah.
But, you know, he's a great guy, and he's doing good things with AEW.
Yeah.
They still have him with Matt Hardy, don't they?
Yeah.
Yep. And, you know, I think the sky's the limit for him.
Looks like $1 million too. I mean, really,
Right.
the guy is in such good shape.
Yeah. And he's, I believe he's an engineer for his shoot job.
Yeah, don't surprise me. He looks like a smart. I talked to him a few times. He's a pretty smart guy.
And I heard secondhand, so don't quote me.
Right.
But I believe they did offer him an NXT deal.
Oh, wow.
And because he has that nice job and he makes decent money,
Right.
is why he turned it down. And that's how the AEW thinking about.
Wow.
That's what I heard secondhand.
Smart,
I could be
man,
wrong.
you know, because you can't, you can, you know, you have a dream, but if you're making good money and a great living, I mean, it's hard. You can't just toss that stuff away.
Move to Florida, start all over.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like most wrestlers do.
Exactly.
That's where they move to.
Yeah.
How about, let's talk about a couple of guys that have been signed recently. He goes by Carmelo Hayes now. Christian Casanova.
Christian Casanova he's always been good. He was, you know, back in our days at APW and stuff, he was just starting out and he'd ask, you know, hey, did you watch the match? How did this look? How did this look? I always tell him it was great, man. It was great. You know, the only thing I used to give him a little bit of criticism on is he used to dress all in black.
Okay.
And I told him, I said, look around this room, man. You know, half the guys wearing black and half of us got to wear black because we don't got the body.
Right.
I said, throw some color in your gear. That's the only criticism I ever gave him. He's always been good.
Nice.
And now he's just better and better and better.
Oh, yeah. And before he got signed with Chaotic, he was doing the Killing stuff.
Right.
You know, with Triplicious.
Yeah.
And the big guy, Royce Bishop.
Right. Yep.
Now, how about those guys? Royce Bishop and Triplicious.
Triplicious, I've been on a few shows with him. The other guy I'm a little unfamiliar with, but that was, you know, it's always good to have, you know, the heel faction.
Right.
Especially in a smaller company like Chaotic or, you know, an independent company, let's say.
Right.
It's always good to have that because, you know, you can team up a few baby faces for a match.
Yep.
You can have, you know, you can do the gimmick where they have all the gold. You know what I mean? A good heel faction always sits well in an indie company.
Absolutely. How about Ivar?
Ivar?
Yeah, of the Viking Raiders, War Machine is like, I don't know about you, it's probably your favorite tag team name that they've had.
When I was first starting out, not only was I lucky enough to have Handsome be one of my trainers at CTC for a while there, but he was my favorite wrestler. Handsome Johnny was my favorite Chaotic wrestler.
Nice.
For sure. And I can't say enough nice things about him. He's always been nice to me. Even, when he came back afterwards and he was in cut shape and was getting booked all over the place, he always took the time out to, talk to me a little bit and this and that. Very, very nice guy, down-to-earth guy.
What do you think about this? Think all the injuries he's had.
Yep.
Lesser man would have quit.
No doubt about it.
To see him, that's why, like, for me, it's great to see the ball make it, but he might have been the one I was most happy to see make it, because I know that he could have quit so many times, and he wasn't letting that. He wasn't going to let any injuries stop him.
He'd come back better, usually.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Yeah. I can't say enough good things about him.
Excellent. How about the guy that's really starting to get a push at NXT, Big Josh Briggs?
Yep. Josh Briggs was another, from our era, he was just starting out, and he would ask, questions and this and that, and I would tell him, you're there, what I mean?
Right.
You're asking me, and you're better than me, you know what I'm saying? You're already there.
Right.
And, no, Josh is awesome, and he's got that big size, he looks like an athlete, what I mean? And I think I don't think I ever said it to him, but I know I've discussed it with some of the other boys, is I know he used to have to wear that thing on his shoulder.
Right.
But I mean, I guess it didn't hurt him in the long run, so what the hell do I know? But that's kind of like, you're trying to get signed, but you're wearing this big apparatus on your shoulder. It might have
not helped him.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Right.
When you're looking at 5 guys and one of them's wearing a thing on his shoulder.
Yeah.
How
about your favorite bartender? T-Bar.
Yep.
Dijak.
Yeah, he used to sling some beers for us. Another great guy. And a lot of people don't know, he had his first match in APW. Woody,
oh, really?
Woody gave him his first match.
No kidding.
Yeah, he was Donovan Dijak, the Yugoslavian nobleman.
Wow.
And he would come out with the flag. And I mean, he was great then.
Incredible. Seriously.
He was 3/4 of the way up the card when he started. And I think that forced other companies to start using him.
Right.
APW was using him every month.
Right.
Yep.
How about we'll go back, a guy that's been actually world champion, Kofi Kingston.
Kofi Kingston, he was already gone by the time I started, so I never got a chance to meet him. When I was training at CTC, there was a night he came to hang out and help the guys and stuff like that, and of course I missed it. You know what I mean? But no, Kofi's one of my favorites. My dog's named Kofi.
Really?
Yeah.
You named your dog after Kofi?
Yeah, sure did.
That's pretty cool. I like that.
Yep.
How about a guy that's been out in New England for a while now? I mean, he does come back here, and he just wrestled at Lucky Pro Wrestling. Eddie Edwards, Die Hard.
Eddie Edwards was the man when we were growing up. Sabotage was the team.
No doubt.
Yeah.
Do you have any memories of DC?
Yeah, DC. We got to work with him and Kyle.
Yeah.
They had the VCW tag titles, and me and Bugsy had a couple, 1 or 2 matches with them. Might have just been 1.
Right.
But and then DC was at the top of the card of every show that I was on when I first started out.
Even though I know wrestling's a work, I'm not ashamed to say it. That guy scared the crap out of me. I'm serious. He did.
In true top guy fashion, what you saw DC in the ring was him outside the ring.
That's what everybody says. Yeah. How about a guy that's become a good friend and he's working behind the scenes at NXT, George Carroll.
George Carroll, he used to give some good words of advice on the early VCW shows and stuff like that. Never had any real good interactions with him, face to face and stuff like that, but he was always there to lend a helping hand, yeah.
Yeah, no, he's a great guy. He gave me some feedback right when I started the show. Great things. It's already over, Burly.
I know, go so fast, right?
It's unbelievable. I want to thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
We can come back and do this again, I hope.
Yep, whenever you want.
All right, thanks,
yeah,
man. Guys, we're out. Peace. Hi, guys. I hope you're enjoying the show. Listen, I could use a little help to grow my YouTube channel. So if you could please like, share, and subscribe. That's most importantly, subscribe. Send me a direct message, and I'll give you a shout out here on the show. My YouTube channel is real simple. It's just my name, Leo Connors. Thanks in advance. Peace.
The preceding program was provided by an independent producer solely responsible for its content. The opinions expressed do not necessarily represent the views of this station, its staff, board of directors, or underwriters.